ABC Sawgrass.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball, and this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Good chance now after that approach shot for a birdie.
Oh, he was so precise coming in, and the measurement is 9 feet away.
Setting himself up for a good weekend, the wily golf instructor makes his birdie. And let's go down to the 6th. Even par through the early portion of this second round. What are some keys for the day in order to set himself up for success?
Well, I think take advantage of some of the short par fours out here, Rich. You're only going to have a wedge in your hand. The shots that you could pretty much guarantee you can get inside 15 or 20 feet. You know there's a bunch of opportunities.
On the dance floor here at the 6th, but still a pretty hard putt coming up, about 30 feet away.
Now, putt for par.
Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5 7th.
And a 6, and a 7, and an 8, or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on do you go for this par 5 and 2. It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting.
We just saw a player in total control of what he's doing. Didn't miss a green in regulation all day long. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. On the way. Well, hello there. That's an eagle.
Might be languishing in the middle of the pack, but please celebrate that.
Frank, in modern professional golf, we're seeing more and more drivable par 4s, like the 8th here at Quail Hollow, 350 yards. What do you think of this hole?
It's not a bad hole. Drivable, some might say, but the angle of the green means it's hard for that tee shot to keep on the green. But I think the reward for hitting a driver is try and sort of aim at that tree just left of the green. And the reason why is then you've got to pitch up the direction of the green. This is a really narrow green.
Good, clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
He'll take par and move on. Frank, this is a really good way to finish out the front side here at Quail Hollow. 495-yard par 4.
Yeah, it's the longest par 4 at Quail Hollow. Some say it might be the toughest. I'm not quite in that camp. And the reason why, that green slopes in from both sides, the left and the right. But you can see why good drivers have done well here, because there's a big reward for thumping a big, long, straight drive down here.
Headed for the bunker? Oh, a bit unfortunate. Wasn't able to avoid the sand trap. Great knees, great hands in this shot.
Yeah, touch. You have to have that feel. You have something between the ball and the club face. So it's a different feel, but you also have to have imagination.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that.
It's no snack, though.
Frank, let's hope he doesn't make double bogey now.
That's the saddest coming out in you, Rich.
Shouldn't be a problem here. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. This is a case of anything that could go wrong. Not just probably, it did.
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. And we welcome you to one of the most popular golf courses on the PGA Tour. It is Quail Hollow. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Frank, it is just starting to heat up out on the golf course. Fans are streaming in, anticipating a highly contested event with the best golfers in the world.
One reason the fans love this course so much, Rich, the Green Mile. It's fine to have a good golf course, but it's got to have a great finish. It's got a great finish, then it becomes a great golf course. Quail Hollow has that great finish at 16, 17, and 18.
Frank, with that brutal Green Mile looming ahead, beginning at the 16th hole, this might be the last really good opportunity to make something happen, to generate some excitement. This second shot to the 15th.
Really have to focus on what's ahead of you right now. Second shot, extremely uphill. So the higher you can hit that shot, the better off. And of course, this green too, where that ball lands, it's almost a lottery. There's so many undulations in this 15th green.
And he makes it for par. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Frank, I'm sure it feels good to get some red numbers on the card, but this tournament is probably too far out of reach at this point.
No question.
Frank, the 17th here at Quail Hollow, it is all you want.
And a bit more, actually. The only advantage the player has, it plays a little bit downhill. But when you look at the lake in front of you, if there's any swirling breeze out there, it just becomes a nightmare trying to choose the right club.
Wow, Frank, he did well just to get it on the green from that lie.
I didn't think that was doable.
Settles in over the putt. That's just a poor putt right there. No other way to say it. And a drop shot, a bogey at 17. Just a tap in to finish the hole. Frank, this has been an absolute mess today and all week long.
You said it best.
Here we are, the 18th hole at Quail Hollow. Simply put, Frank, a player needs to hit maybe his best tee shot of the day.
I would agree with you, Rich. If you were to measure this hole from trees on the left to trees on the right, it's actually a really wide field or expansive land. But that creek that just meanders its way through the middle of this hole completely changes the nature of this hole. And consequently, you hit the nail on the head. If you don't hit a good tee shot, you will rack up something here. And I've got no idea how big it would be.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man. Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. A birdie will send him to 1 under on the leaderboard. Final round coverage comes your way tomorrow for our entire crew. I'm Rich Lerner saying thanks for being with us on EA Sports, and so long for now. This is EA Sports, PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Thanks for joining us here today in Charlotte, North Carolina for the final round of the Wells Fargo Championship. Frank, what do we have out here today?
Well, if history has a chance of repeating itself, remember those great closing rounds by Rory McIlroy, that 62, that was one of the best rounds ever shot that year. back in 2010, and of course that playoff too. Ricky Fowler back in 2012. We actually beat out then world number one Rory McIlroy with that stunning drive down the finishing hole and brilliant wedge to a tight flag. This golf course, it can give it, it can take it away, but for us, from where we're sitting, Rich, we'll enjoy the view today.
No doubt about it. Not too bad, about 25 feet away. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. As this one for par. Nothing wrong with that par putt. Frank, on this backside at Quail Hollow, a player does have a good chance to get off to a good start with that par 5 10th and now relatively short par 4 11th, where a player with a good drive could stick a short iron in their hands.
Yeah, this is one you're going to have to make a decision. You can just play this as a straightforward dogleg left par 4 and hit a 3-wood or a long iron up there and 9-iron or something like that into the green. Or, if you want it, you can try and blast a drive around the corner. I don't know if that's the more prudent play, but it's fun.
Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No, just good putt, though. There's no two ways about that. He's putting well.
Well done. Frank, I think the mark of a good golf course design, changing directions. We go from a right to left hole, now at the 12th, to a left to right hole.
Yeah, there's no two holes at Quail Hollow that look the same. And this one slightly downhill, fairway tilts a little bit to the right, and it's a bit of a sleeper. And plus you add in on top of that 450 yards plus. This is a fairway that has to be hit. Should be safely on deck.
Great effort right there, and a great chance to knock in that short putt. Getting set now over the putt. Right off the edge. Wow.
That hurts.
So they'll tap in. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now the par 3 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. There's a front right portion. There's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle. Rich, I thought he could get this putt.
That just is amazing. Just a mind blower right there. Absolutely incredible. He made the shot. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. And the last 50 or 60 yards as the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk.
That's good stuff right there. Wonderful approach, and now a really good look at birdie. That birdie will help, Frank.
Certainly moving into the top half, that's for sure. And starting to narrow that number down in front.
So the shot has landed, I'm not sure if it's on the mulch or in the mulch. Either way, it's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he doesn't have mulch of a shot, you left.
Well, we've seen this before today. In the bunker. Lays the face open. He'll try to pop this one out. Frank, that reminds you of maybe what, the greatest bunker player of all time? Not a gimme, but well within his range. Frank, he took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
This is the start of what some say is the toughest finishing stretch on the PGA Tour. It's known as the Green Mile. Frank, what makes it so challenging?
Well, this hole in particular, Rich, the dogleg right, means it plays every inch of it's just over 500 yards. That bunker you can see down the right, 325 yards to carry that. If you can fly the ball that far, at least you can chew off 2/3 of this hole, and that is well required here. Otherwise, it's a long, long second shot.
Sit down, get down.
Oh, this is gone.
Certainly had enough power, just didn't have any touch. Not in the fairway, but not too bad, just in that first cut. Well, that's what separates the good players from the great players, the ability to get it that close from that kind of line. That's costly right there.
Painful.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Frank, this is all you want in a par 3, especially late in the round. You have to carry the water. You have to deal with the pressure. At 221 yards, this requires a player's very best.
On the process of elimination, don't go long, don't go left, don't go short, and right is marginal. It doesn't leave you with much.
Frank, how good was that just to get it on the green?
Well, from that shot there, you would have thought for sure that there was no chance he had of finding the green. That was some shot.
I thought that was in.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean, line, pace, it's hard to be critical of that.
So a tester from 4 feet. Always love to hear the sound at the bottom of the cup. Down to the finishing hole here at Quail Hollow. Frank, what can we expect?
If there was a name for this hole, Rich, it should be called Narrows. The creek that meanders its way down the left side and actually divides that hole into really half the size of what a normal par 4 should be. That makes it hard. The bunker on the right is your bailout area, just over 290 yards to get past that, and then the narrowest green that still sits up against the lake. This is just a brutal finish.
Final approach shot of the day here at 18. Frank, what's the key?
A nice high shot that just holds from that left side would be perfect. But it's so hard to get the ball all the way back because this second shot is played slightly uphill. Nearly 3/4 of the club.
Well, that's how you play the game, right there. Little redemption chance here, had bogey yesterday. Oh, yeah, he's made it for a birdie. So another tournament in the books, Frank, and what'd you make of this one?
Quality venue once again, Rich. The standard of courses we're seeing is excellent, and consequently it's enabling the players to really play some great golf. So I think golf's the winner today.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Players. Right where they were aiming, in the fairway.
Second shot.
Birdie try up next. Locked in on the read and the speed. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one. Even par currently.
That's a par, and that keeps the scorecard clean, still even for the round. Now over to the 6th hole. As we catch up with today's featured golfer, Frank, what's the key to generating some momentum?
Just hitting good shots. I know it sort of sounds like the old cliche, but plenty of opportunities. A few 10, 15-foot putts start going down. This round will change dramatically.
Frank, now the second shot here at hole number 6.
Yeah, not overly long, but be very aware of these palm trees that are short. Many a shot's caught those trees coming into this green.
Just a pure strike and a perfect result. He'll have a good look at birdie now. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
In for par. Frank, the 7th hole here at the TPC Sawgrass, vintage Pete Dye, isn't it?
It is. Anything other than straight confuses the player off the tee. But there's 3 pot bunkers down the right side, just inside that last little pot bunker on the left of that. Actually a pretty good line.
Just a solid shot here at number 7, right where you want to be. The second shot now to the par 4. This one has a chance to be close. So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
So just a formality here. Just a shade over par, +1. Here we are at the 8th at Pete Dye's famed stadium course at the TPC Sawgrass. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Frank, this is a hole that I really like.
And players do too, Rich, especially off that back tee where it must be about 80 yards of shoot that you go through before the hole actually starts to open up. And this green, 11 bunkers in total around the whole putting surface.
How does that not go in? Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Frank, what do you make of the final hole here on the front side, the 583-yard par 5 ninth?
Just depends on how much you want to risk here. If you hit a good drive down the right side, it's certainly gettable for 2. But you can make an absolute mess here at 9.
Nice position, short grass, second shot. Frank, narrow entryway to this green here at the 9th. Short shot, but kind of difficult.
Yeah, don't want to get too aggressive here. You missed the green on the left, that bunker there. Very difficult to get it up and down. And of course, there's the 2 little pop bunkers on the right side.
Just 5 feet left.
Rich, it's been a very good workmanlike performance to get another birdie.
Into the top 15 on the leaderboard. And that does it for us here at TPC Sawgrass. Great day, Frank.
Yeah, a chance for the players to play one of the golf courses that has become so famous over the last 25 to 30 years.
For my partner, Frank Nobilo, and our entire team, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long from the TPC Sawgrass and EA Sports. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Players. Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
That's still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par.
Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. These putts keep the round together. Hunter Mahan can make birdies in bunches as well as he strikes the golf ball. And here he goes, Frank. He's moved to within a shot of the lead. Let's go to the 11th. Now, it's a par 5 and a fun hole, Frank. You can make anything from 3 to 7 here.
And that's why, as the start of the back nine, especially on a Sunday, this becomes such a pivotal hole to start a run. Big body of sand down the left side that sometimes the longer hitters can get close to with the tee shot, but really it's the second shot. If you can reach this par 5 and 2, it's a very narrow green. The layout, well, it's actually an awkward layout, Rich, because you've got to push that ball to the left side, almost like a zigzag approach.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Setting himself up for a good weekend, the Wiley golf instructor makes his birdie. Now to the par 4 12th, and it's a pretty short hole, Frank.
Yeah, Pete Dye often doesn't get enough credit for his short par 4s. This is a great example where one of the features of it is the blind second shot, just to give you a little bit of doubt on judging the distance.
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
That's an outstanding shot right there, and it sets up a really good look at birdie. Now this for birdie came away with par in the previous round. Moves into the top 25 with that birdie. And Frank, we always like when they have the whole location back left and that ball trickles down, feeds. You can see some really good ones and maybe even an ace here.
Yeah, just like Mickelson a few years ago. Down there, it looked like it was going to flirt with a bunker, ran up and over the ridge, and in it goes. This is one where you have to play ground ball as well as high ball.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot. That might go unnoticed, Rich, but that birdie just sneak inside the top 15.
Frank, historically in this great championship, 14 has proven to be a pivotal hole.
Everybody focuses on the finish here, but you're absolutely right, Rich. This can be an absolute scorecard record because if you spin your drive left, the drop back, perhaps on the ladies' tees, you can make 6 in a heartbeat. You try and air to the right, you can make 6 from the mounds. So a good drive down 14 gives you a chance for that fast finish.
Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
Now to the 15th, and Frank, I know this is a hole that you really like.
Yeah, it gets no respect in my book, which I think is a shame. Just a nice dogleg to the right. And really 2 good shots and a 3 here, which is actually a rarity. It sets you up for those closing 3 holes. Too often people just take 15 lightly. And 15 has just a gentle nibble that turns into a bite. Safely on deck.
Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Getting set now over the putt. Needs a few more of those. That was a good birdie.
Yeah, this time, that one gets him in the top 10.
2 rounds in the books, Frank, and a good spot from which to make a move.
Yeah, well positioned. Really, you know, if you're leading, it's a different pressure. Being in the chaser pack there, playing well, what a great position to go into with 2 rounds to go.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live 3rd round coverage of the Players. Right where they were aiming, in the fairway. All right, Frank, now the approach here at number 10. What's the right way to play it?
Just avoid that bunker on the right and don't go too long and left. Over the back left is not an easy up and down.
Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie. Frank, you know what gets me about this game? Here a person makes a legitimate effort, makes a good stroke, and that ball spins around and is just laughing at the player. And now what's left, you could breathe on that ball. It counts the same as a 300-yard drive. It's not right.
But it's the beauty of the game.
Good contact, good result. And that one was struck solid, up 290. Playing his second shot here at the par 5. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Oh, no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is going, gone.
Frank, not where he wants to be, but not out of the hole here at the par 5.
No, but Rich, to drop a shot here would really set him backwards.
Frank, what's so much fun about TPC Sawgrass is the excitement that it generates for a fan and how many different holes there are. 12 is a good example.
Yeah, 12 looks like it's fresh from Scotland. You can see why Pete Dye spent a lot of time over there. Tee shot looks straight away, but the second shot is blind. The shot you'd get in Scotland with a wedge where you just see the top of the flagstick and you've got to really guesstimate on the yardage that you have. But a good wedge shot and someone that can judge their distance. This is certainly a birdie hole.
Frank going for 2 in a row now. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Always take that. Good par putt right there. Hole number 13 here at Sawgrass. Tricky 181-yard par 3.
You don't have to hit directly at this flag. When that flag's at the back there, you can use the contours. When it's on the left, once again, you can use the ridge in the middle of the green. Matter of fact, one of the hardest hole locations is when it's in the front right, because that's when you have to be perfect.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
Birdie here yesterday, trying to do it again today. Well, after that birdie, has to be feeling as though they're not out of it just yet.
They're not far away from the first page of the leaderboard. A couple more birdies.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Players. Frank, there's fairway, there's rough, and then there's mulch.
Yeah, the worst thing about the mulch is all these little chips around the ball, and that's so the ball doesn't sit up. And once again, this shot might look easy, but if you just miss it a bit, it so exaggerates the outcome.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid, superb shot.
Well, it's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Good putt. And if you're a couple of shots behind on Sunday, that final round, you're thinking about 3, and that's possible, isn't it?
Well, history's shown it has, Rich. Long and straight.
That's how you do it. He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot, he is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Frank had hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
See if you can get this one to drop here at the 16th for a birdie. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Yet another birdie, and on the march, 7 under for the tournament. If you're wondering, and we know you are because we're at the 17th, 44 balls in the water here in 2013, 28 in 2014.
That's when the wind laid down, Rich. If the wind gets up, that number will escalate. Hazard?
Maybe wet. Wow, lucky break right there, Frank.
Well, that's what everyone else is going to say, except him. That was cruel. That looked like it was certainly going in.
And getting ready for the putt. Good work right there. He'll settle for par. Now one of the more difficult holes in golf. The 18th here at Sawgrass, 462-yard par 4. In 2013, this hole averaged .39 strokes above par. What makes it so challenging, Frank?
Just that big body of water that to the left of 18 here that's also shared to the right of 9. Not a single fairway bunker on this 18th hole. So really, lack of definition. It's so hard to find a target here.
Appears to be tracking well. So maybe a nice way to finish up with a good approach here to the 18th and a good chance for birdie.
It's at sneaky distance.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the course.
And takes care of business there.
Solid stroke.
Frank, it was a great setting with great crowds. We saw plenty of very good golf. Your thoughts?
Well, I think the course really extracted some of the golf that we saw. It forced these players to play just some great golf, and it wasn't just like a pitch and a putt golf course. So I think seeing the guys tested, seeing the players tested at this level, it was a treat.